What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome to my breakdown and analysis of the new Halloween banner. We did see Timerra on the silhouette and I'm really happy that she's finally in the game. She's a Lance Infantry unit, so I really wonder if they're going to be making another Lance Infantry Timerra for her original version. But her implementation with this weapon is really good with her personal skill and also Sandstorm. So she's got Inspirited Spear, which is a 16 might weapon giving you -1 special cooldown. And at start of turn, if there's any kind of foe within 3 rows or 3 columns centered on Timerra, then she can grant herself and the allies within 2 spaces the +6 speed and defense buff. So this is really good with bonus doubler 4 in her kit, and speed and defense are probably going to be 2 of her most important stats because she does depend on the speed based damage reduction and she is going to be needing that defense for tanking. So getting the visible buffs and giving that to her allies is also really good. And then at sort of enemy phase, for the foes that are within 3 rows and 3 columns centered on Timerra, she can inflict the guard status on them. And also if the foe has got an offensive special and their special cooldown count is 1 or lower, and if she has got more defense than the opponent, then she can basically pulse tie the opponent and increase their special cooldown. So this is essentially a pulse tie. I've seen a lot of people say that this is a scowl skill, which is not true because scowl is in the combat and this is definitely not a scowl skill. This is a pulse tie that is active in the enemy phase, and being active in the enemy phase means that it is going to be triggering to just wipe out stuff like time pulse and the other pulsing effects like open domain. So she's going to be benefiting a lot from this in either its offense, for tanking, and also for providing that kind of support. And keep in mind that the opponents cannot really exceed their special cooldown count. So if they have a 1 cooldown special, you can only make it 2 cooldown with this kind of effect. So it's definitely not a scowl skill for sure. It is a pulse tie that activates at the start of the enemy phase. And it can only pulse tie the offensive specials of the enemies. So it can only pulse tie something like Miracle, Godlike Reflexes, Aegis, Pavis. So it also means that Freyr is going to be able to cleanse the guard status from his allies, but he can only cleanse this kind of pulse tie effect that Timerra does. So again, she's going to be really useful in either raid's offense because of that, for tanking, and she herself can be a tank, but she can also help other units tank better because of this effect. And then at start of combat, if her HP is at or above 25%, she can get +5 to all of her stats and also inflicts the debuff on opponents' attack speed and defense depending on 15% of her visible defense. So again, this is really good on any kind of modern unit because it's no longer enough to have +5 speed. So getting more speed in the combat is going to be helping her tremendously for being a fast tank, and you can pretty much outsource null follow-up at this point really easily. And finally, she can deal true damage on her specials based on 40% of her defense, which is going to be hitting really hard. So this is just like Sandstorm that she has in Engage, and the pulse tie and the guard effect is more like Racket of Solm. So I really like how they have implemented these Engage skills into her weapon in FEH. And she also heals up 7 HP after the combat, so she can function as a pretty good Omni tank. But the thing is that she's going to be reliant on damage reduction that is completely pierceable, like Vital Astra, Spurn 4, but still because of her high speed and defense, she's going to be able to function as a good tank. I kind of wish that she had like true damage reduction in her weapon like Brave Dimitri. That would have made her like insane Omni tank, but she doesn't really have that. But she's definitely going to be hitting really hard, just like Engage with her Sandstorm, which is essentially the bonfire true damage in FEH. And Vital Astra is her special, so it's a 1 cooldown special, and she does come with Time Pulse 4, so you can easily pre-charge it and loop it. And this is going to be giving her the damage reduction, which is really needed, and also a lot of damage based on her speed, and then even more damage with her weapon. Bonus doubler 4 is something that we actually have seen before on Garrick's Weapon Refine, on Roy's Remix, and on like bunch of other units. So it is not necessarily something too new. It is essentially going to be giving you +4 to all of your stats, and then the highest bonus on each stat between the unit or the allies in 2 spaces of the unit. And each stat is going to be calculated independently. So what this means is that you're not going to be affected by the lull or the dull skills of the enemies, because you're going to be taking the stats from your allies essentially. So again, this is something that Garrick has got, and he's someone who has got a recent weapon refine. So bonus doubler 4 is able to circumvent the lull and the dull skills So it is not the most insane upgrade for a tier 4 skill, but still it's pretty useful on any kind of unit that wants to stack up a lot of stats. And Timerra, I guess, could replace this with like speed defense finish at like max investment or something. So that's something she can do. And the reason why you need to run Vital Astra is because she's only going to be getting true damage on the offensive specials. It is not going to be working if you run her with like godlike reflexes. And that's why Vital Astra is pretty much going to be her best special that she can run. And she also has another page of skills in Spurn 4 and Time Pulse 4. So Spurn 4 is going to be providing you with that damage reduction and also the phantom speed effect built in. So because she depends a lot on her speed based damage reductions, it is really important to have this skill. And then Time Pulse 4 is just going to be looping Vital Astra. So overall, I do think that Timerra is a pretty solid unit who can provide amazing support with her weapon. And even if her combat fades with time, she's still going to be able to provide that support. And it's always going to be helpful in ether raids and also in arena. But for summoner duels, 3 rows and 3 columns isn't really that big of a space. You need even more for summoner duels because of its maps. So yeah, her main use case is definitely going to be for ether raids in terms of competitive use. And their teams are going to be having a lot of pre-chart specials with Time Pulse 4, Duo Asker and stuff like that. And her support can basically work against that and also inflict the guard status on the opponent, which doesn't mean anything for the Astra season because Freya is going to be cleansing that. But for the light season, it is something that is going to be helpful, and it can also help her Omni tank. So I think that she's probably going to be having a lot of speed and a lot of defense and probably not as much attack because she's going to be relying on her weapon for the true damage and the damage output. Windtribe Claude and Rally Spectrum are some of the ways of getting around the pulse tie that she has got in her weapon because she can only do much if your lethality is at 3 cooldown, and then you can immediately trigger it like Windtribe Claude. And Rally Spectrum is also something that we have seen with Brave Male Robin. So those are going to be the things that Timerra is unfortunately not going to be able to provide any kind of support against. And then we have got Flayn here. So she is a kitty cat this time. So she can now hunt the fishes officially. And she is basically like an upgraded Flayn, but this time she's a staff cavalier, so she's not a flying unit. And if she was a flying unit, that would have been a lot better and insane with the guidance 4 and soaring guidance that we have got now. So she has got Kitty Cat Parasol, which is a 14 might staff, which does have Wrathful Staff built in, and it also provides her with -1 special cooldown. And she can provide the drive support to the allies within 2 spaces of her for their special charges. And this is going to be giving them special charge +1 per attack. So this is really good because you can free up your allies from running any kind of Bread Sacred Seal or Heavy Blade or Flashing Blade or anything like that. And she also provides the Dull Foe attack effect, which is going to be helping you neutralize the visible attack of your enemies. And that is something we have seen before with Mila. And then finally it provides you with 30% damage reduction, which is what the regular Flayn does. But this Flayn does that and even more by providing even more support to the allies in 2 spaces. Kind of wish that this was in 3 spaces because that would have been pretty nice. You definitely have to watch out for Colorless Feud as a skill because it has been made popular because of Fallen Maria and Summer Ymir. And Colorless Feud can be really annoying for Flayn, especially with her drive support. And not to mention, we do have Embla in the light season, so you also have to watch out for her if you're going to be using this Flayn as a support unit. And then for herself, she can get +6 attack and resistance in the combat, and also gets a guaranteed follow-up attack. So this is going to be helping her just double attack easily and have extra attack. And I think that she's probably going to be having high attack and resistance, which is good because it allows her to run Still Water and the Sabotage skill and the Ploy skill. So high resistance is going to be helping you to double down on the support. And then she has got Rescue Plus, Holy Pressure as a damaging special. And then she has got Attack Resistance Unity, which is not the greatest skill on a healer. And like I said, you can easily resistance stack on her to use Sabotage or the Ploy skill, which we have seen with Rion Plumeria. And then she has got Dazzle Fortrace, which is probably going to be limited to like Flyers or Cavaliers. Because you can essentially get counter remaining movement out of this, which is useful on a Cavalier, and then you can also debuff the opponent's speed and basically get the Dazzling Staff effect. So overall, Halloween Flayn is a pretty decent support unit who can not only provide you with the damage reduction just like the regular version of Flayn, but also provide you with even more support. But I still think that there are a lot better support units present in the game, especially stuff like Fallen Maria, for example, and Gatekeeper did get a weapon refine recently as well. So even though she is good support unit, it's just that there are a lot of really insane support units. Still, you can stack up different kinds of support on your units and basically have them perform better. And Flayn is going to be helping you with that, and I hope that she has good resistance. And she's probably going to be having high attack as well. So that is the upgraded version of Flayn, or the power crept version. And she is due for a weapon refine, but that is probably going to be in 2-3 years. So it's going to be a good time until she gets that. And then we have the 4-star focus unit of this banner in Seadall. So he's the first engaged dancer that we have got in FEH. And we did start to get the engaged limited battles. So he can help a lot of the folks with their clears, because having the dance support is really helpful on those kinds of maps. It is still possible to beat those maps without a dancer, of course, if you have good units. But Seadall can definitely provide good support for that aspect. And also be useful for resonant battles, where you have engage as one of the bonuses. So Seadall is a red mage infantry dancer, and he doesn't really have any kind of unique dance, which unfortunately is not the greatest thing as a dancer, because you want to have the perfect dance so that he can stand out from the fairies and all of the insane dancers. But at the very least, he has got a weapon that provides some kind of support by giving the unit and the ally within 2 spaces the +6 resistance and attack buff. So if you run him with Timerra, then she can basically get +6 to all of her stats and make full use out of her bonus doubler. And speaking of bonus doubler, this weapon actually has bonus doubler 4 built in. So if you can only run Arcane Eclipse on any kind of red mage, then this is actually a pretty good weapon that you can also run, because you get the extra attack and resistance, and you also get +4 to all of your stats, and then bonus doubler for all stats, which is really good. And this is essentially going to be helping him be a bit more bulky. And then we see the version 3 of Finish skill, which is again very good for the fodder if you're going to be foddering Rearmed Ophelia or Brave Tiki. So it is going to be helpful, and I'm glad that we're getting the tier 3 version of the Finish skills. And then he has got Infantry Null Follow-Up, which is also an amazing skill, especially nowadays with units not having Null Follow-Up in their preferred weapon, like Timerra and Summer Fiorm. So giving them the Null Follow-Up status is something that you have to do for making sure that they can tank better. So Infantry Null Follow-Up is amazing support skill on a 4-star focus. So as a dancer, he's not really too insane, but he's going to be helping your engaged roster pretty much in terms of limited battles for many people. And he does provide some good fodder in Infantry Null Follow-Up and also attack resistance finish. So if you fodder Rearmed Ophelia to him, that's really good, as he can get the Special Spiral 4 and the tier 4 version of the Finish skill. And then we have got the harmonic unit of this banner in Anna, and also Anna. So she is an Axe Flyer, and the Engage Anna is at front, the young Anna that we have in Engage, and then we also have the Awakening Anna. So that's pretty much the harmonic unit. It's kind of similar to Brattle Tiki in a way, with the same character basically, but from different iterations. And she does have a preferred axe and Payday pouch, so it doesn't have -1 special cooldown because she comes with Gambit 4, and to make full use of Gambit 4, you don't really want to have -1 special cooldown. So it provides her with +3 speed, and if the number of bonus status effects present on her is more than equal to 3, then she can get Canto 2 and also have the foe's damage reduction skill. So that is pretty good for nuking and also for retreating with that Canto 2. And she can easily give herself the 3 status effects with her weapon and attack speed range snap. So she's always going to be having access to the Canto and the damage reduction halving that we have seen before with something like physical null follow-up or magical null follow-up. And then at start of turn, she can grant herself the following status based on the number of allies in 2 spaces. So if she's got 1 or more ally in 2 spaces, then she can give herself the null follow-up status. And if she's got 2 or more allies in 2 spaces, then she can give herself the Hexblade status, which is going to be enabling the adaptive damage. So you can target foes lower defense or resistance, which is really good against many kind of physical tanks which are going to be having a lot of defense but not as much resistance. And then she can get even more attack and speed in combat depending on 25% of foes' visible attack stat subtracted by 8. So this can go all the way up to +10 attack and speed. So she can essentially get +15 attack and speed in combat, which can help her offensively, especially with the Hexblade status that she can give to herself. And then she has got Miracle in her kit, which does go well with Gambit. Keep in mind that Gambit 4 doesn't really work with Gale Force, so Miracle and Ether are the 5 cooldown specials that you can run. And then she's got Attack Speed Prime 4 right after Windtribe Claw that we had last month. So this is going to be giving her even more offenses in the combat. And if you want to get the distant counter effect on her with this skill, then she needs to have 4 or more visible status effects. And as it is with her kit, she can already give herself the 3 status effects with the Hexblade status, the Null Follow-Up status, and the extra movement. So you just need to run her with any kind of other unit who can give her another status effect, and then she's going to be able to get the distant counter, which is not really all that hard to do. And then she's got Gambit 4, which is an amazing skill with high cooldown specials like Miracle, for example. And this essentially gives you 50% damage reduction and also 15 true damage per hit, which is extremely good offensively and also defensively. And then she has got Attack Speed, Rain Snap. I'm glad that we're getting more Rain Snap skills because I really like them, even though they're kind of overshadowed by Guidance and Soaring Guidance for the most part. But for Ana, this is really good because it provides her with the extra movement, which is an extra status that she can make use of for her weapon as well as the prime skill. So on Ana, this is going to be really good so that she can give herself the extra movement and also to any kind of other infantry or armored ally that are within 2 spaces of her. So overall, Halloween Anas are basically a Summoner Duels unit because you can use them to front line with Gambit 4, and they could be used with Brave Crom because Brave Crom can easily copy the Hexblade status and the Null Follow-Up status and the +1 movement. So both Brave Crom and Halloween Ana do need the visible status effects, so they go really well together. And obviously she can have better movement than Crom because she is a flying unit. And if you don't really like facing Gatekeeper, then extra movement is definitely a way of going about things. And then she's got her Harmonic skill, which is a bit selfish in the nature, so it does provide the Resonant Blades and Resonant Shields effect to the unit and any kind of allies from Engage and Awakening, and also heals them up for full HP, 99 HP, which is quite a lot. So Resonance Blades and Shields do count as the visible status effects that you need on Ana, so it can be helpful to her. And then she can also give herself the -5 special cooldown with this button. So that's why I say that like she's in Summoner Duels unit, because you're not going to be able to trigger this kind of skill in Ether Raids against pretty much any kind of good team because of Duo Hindrance. So Harmonized skills are a lot more useful for Resonant battles and competitively a lot more useful for Summoner Duels. So this skill could be useful for just healing up the HP of your Engage and Awakening allies, and for Ana to pre-charge her Miracle or even pre-charge her Ether. She can only give this special cooldown effect to her allies, so that is the selfish part about this Harmonic skill, but still that is really good for just pre-charging a 5 cooldown special instantly with a button, and you can easily do that on like turn 1. And then because she's so fast with that base 47 speed, she is going to be really hard to double, especially with all of the speed that she can get. And on top of that, she's got Gambits, damage reduction, and also Miracle to help her survive, so she can definitely be a pretty annoying unit. All things considered with her base kit, and she's definitely a unit that you're going to be seeing in Summoner Duels. She can also work out in Ether Raid's offense, but I would say that she's mainly more of a Summoner Duels unit because of the front lining that you can do with Gambit and also the Harmonic skill being really useful. So that is the Harmonic Ana, and we do know her stats already. And we also have a Tempest Trial Plus unit in Kellam. So Kellam is finally in the game, and he is probably going to be a Sword Armor, I think. He does have a 4 cooldown special, so probably something like Ignis. And he's going to be having more BST than the older armor units, so that is going to be working out in his favor. And he's probably going to be having a defense version of the bonus doubler weapon that we have seen on Seadall. So that's pretty much what I'm expecting. We should be knowing his skills and also the Sacred Seals by tomorrow. And it does make sense for him to be on a Halloween banner because it is a Harvest banner and he's into farming. So yeah, I'm pretty glad that he is in the game. And now only Vake and Laurent are the last 2 remaining playable units from Awakening that are not in FEH yet. So overall, this banner is decent, with Timerra being really good with her support, and also we have Ana being bulky, and then Flayn can be a decent support unit. But this is one of those banners that is a bit skippable for many people. So you can try and save your orbs for maybe a rearmed unit at the end of this month. And this banner is going to be lasting for a while, so you can definitely take your time and, stack up orbs if you want to summon on this banner. And Seadall is going to be an amazing unit for many people for their engaged roster. So let me know what you think about this banner in the comment section down below. And if you did enjoy this video, then make sure to leave a like and a comment, helps you tremendously. And if you really enjoyed, you could always support me directly by using super thanks down below or by becoming a YouTube member. And for more FEH videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because YouTube sub boxes are about as functional as having a dragon unit on this Halloween banner. So with that, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.